Ew. Ugh. So here I am again. Virgo, you're done, but your energy isn't. I just picked up these cards to try to put it in the thumbnail. And the erudite is right there. Virgo, the hermit. What is this? Hermit of the mysteries. Virgo energy was definitely mysterious. And then the hollow void, moon and cancer, was behind it. And then behind this is the dynasty, where when it's colored, it's easier to see. But within the void of the tree of life, the Kabbalah, there is the mystical rose or the flower that blooms. So the void of Virgo is anything but. Ooh, the moon and the tower. Oh gosh. The moon, the tower, and the eight of wands. Something. Well, if that's for Virgo, still, then things are about to maybe. I don't know if it's they speed up by themselves or if it's like the acceptance of things or the navigation of things that speeds them up. Yeah. The Dynasty Ten of Pentacles with the wish granted. This is Mercury and Virgo, Jupiter and Pisces, which is a Mercury Jupiter opposition. But for Jupiter, it feels like it's an energy of like not being able to explain what's happening. It's expansion beyond what. One second. Oh, look, the sun and the moon are in the dynasty too. The sun, the moon, and Saturn are all. I guess the moon and Saturn would be opposed because they're on. The sun is in the middle. They're on opposite sides of the sun. Um, who was that? Mercury and Jupiter. Mercury and Jupiter are square here because there's like 90 degrees between them. And so it's just an energy of like expanding beyond our ability to immediately ration or communicate. Sun and Aries, the politic speaks of prophecy. Saturn and Sagittarius, that's a Sun Saturn trine. It gets us to see beyond maybe more than what we thought possible, or maybe before we thought possible. Um, and yeah, it's just an expansion of everything that we perceive to be. It's a redefinition of what is realistic. Everything we perceive to be like capable of transpiring or happening. Because that's Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo, Jupiter rules Pisces. So they're both in their strong suit, or they're both where they are comfortable, where they have authority between the star and the moon. I'm just putting these away and giving them a shuffle as I do it. I kind of want to use. I saw Steph use the mystical shaman oracle cards, and I was like, I want to use them between the Emperor and the Hierophant, between the Five of Wands and the Six of Wands. Bottom of the deck is between the Seven and the Eight of Swords. Between the Emperor and the Hierophant is interesting because it's almost this energy. It's the energy of setting precedents. The Emperor is the space of like taking charge, what we do, decisions, actions back. It's decisions backed by actions. And then the Hierophant is like when the pattern is established. So it's to be mindful that we're establishing patterns in this time, in these times. And then the five into the Six of Wands. It's almost heavy as the head that wears the crown energy. Because she's already been crowned, he's about to be. And so there are things that she knows of the experience that he may not be aware of. It's like it could be more or less than you think it is. There could be things that you wouldn't even consider as being a part of whatever. But moving into the Six of Wands, again, it's almost a question of like, how do you want to do it? The bottom of the deck is the Seven of Swords into the Eight of Swords. But this is a Seven of Swords of defeat. Like he's running away. The Roman Empire has lost. This Hierophant is falling. The Roman Empire being the Hierophant for obvious reasons. And they had an emperor, you know? But the Scottish whoever defeated him in the sword suit. Let me see if I can find it. I'll read the between the seven and the six, eight of swords. Oops, too many pages. Come on. There we go. Source card, Seven of Swords, Eight of Swords. The Seven of Swords keywords are breaking free and self interest. The Eight of Swords keywords are entrapment and caged. The in between concept is the last ray of hope. The Scottish Picts are moving down to head off the Roman captain who is trying to escape and moving away from them. The captain is not free yet. The Picts are about to capture him further downstream. The feeling in this card is one of walking forward to entrapment and capture. There is the belief that one can't escape or break free from the anxiety that surrounds us, yet he is still carrying his sword, which, although broken, can still serve as protection. In this in between stage, we are reaching the point where we feel that we can no longer cope. However, we are still aware that we have one last trick up our sleeve before all is lost. This could be a hope we cling to or some kind advice we are yet to take. All is not yet lost. And in between the Emperor and the Hierophant, there is a third option, which is to not play the game. The third option between the Emperor and the Hierophant energies is to walk off of the chessboard. And so, in that, it's almost this energy of like, who says that we have to do X, Y, or Z? Who says it has to be A, B, or C? And it's like, when again, with that Hierophant energy, it's like, well, It's always been done this way, or this is what people always do, or this is what we've always done. And it's like, yeah, okay, but is this the way that it has to be done? Is this the way that it will always be done? Is this the way we'll do it, or we want it done? Is that Tear? No, that's Homferald, Bifrost, Homeward Journey, Leaf, To Become, and Jifu, Generosity. To become generosity. Oh, generosity. Are there? No. Okay. I thought I put reversals in here. Is that? Who is this? I don't even know when this flipped over. Watch your animal guide. Wackened. Bottom of the deck is the homeward journey. Homfereld, Bifrost. With your under that. I don't have. I just need a piece of paper. I got a whole thing. Oh, where's my paper? Ugh. Let me reach my arm back and try to grab a paper. That ain't got no information on it. One second. I want to draw these together. Well, yeah, I want to draw them together because I don't know how well it'll turn out. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see if I can do this. It almost looks like a mouth. Wackened and Homfereld. See, it'll like zigzag in here. So that's the energy of a path being laid out. But on the other side, we would need to complete it. I don't have it, so I'll just do it in dotted lines, I guess. Like that's the part, the dash lines that we need to complete. And there was an energy yesterday of like, as we do something down here, something is simultaneously done up here. So as we do something on one side, it simultaneously draws closer on the other side. And then we complete it. Is this not a rune? It should be. I'm just playing. Well, it would be like a bind rune. Bind runes are a thing. Oh, that's Tuganunga gaps on an East. Or a reflected Bjork. Or Bjaken. Right? Anyway. What do I do for this one? Do I have a deck of Journeying? I have the Enchanted Map Oracle. Let's do what I do when I don't know what to do. Hey Siri, choose a random number between 1 and 4, please.
A random number between 1 and 4 is 1.
Oh, duh. The mystical shaman oracle cards. Okay. I was like, I want to use the mystical shamans, and I forgot about them. I forgot already. Thanks for reminding me, Siri. These are in the first drawer. Let's see. Do I have reversals in this? I think I took them all out, but I want to put them back in now. The Vision Quest and the Seer. Interesting. The Hunter and the Vision Quest. So what's this Walking Humford? And is this going back off of that Virgo reading? Guiding you home. Reaching the end of completion. Upper World in reverse. The Seer upright. Oh. And some card, 2 cards, 3 cards, 2 cards face down. I'll keep them face down for now. Bottom of the deck is the Mystical Shaman in reverse, which is interesting. The Mystical Shaman is a 83 in reverse. It's an 8311. The Vision Quest in reverse is a 6511. I think upright it's a 5914, but in reverse it's a 65. So both of these are 11. The Seer upright is a 9. And then below the Mystical Shaman in reverse is the Heart of the Sky upright. The Upper World is in reverse, but the Heart of the Sky is upright. I would almost say it's something that the Seer sees that the Mystical Shaman doesn't. Oh, this is about connection. The Mystical Shaman is more directly connected to the upper world and the lower world, and I guess the middle world. But the middle world and the lower world aren't here. And so it's like when the upper world goes in reverse, the Mystical Shaman goes in reverse because of the degree of connection. The Seer is still upright because the Seer can peer into the upper world, but it's not as connected. It's almost like there's no direct connection. And maybe this is all told from the perspective of the Seer. So there is something about like the flow. So the Watcher Wackened falls on the purple side, on the crown side of Hamfereld. And that, oh, where did it go? Here it is. So the other way would be this. So with Wackened on the purple side, with Wackened coming before Hamfereld, we get this. And this is how the runes sort of like overlay one another. But on the other side, if Wacken was on the blue side, we would get this, where we get the full expression of Wacken, but it doesn't bleed into the homeward journey that we're already on. It causes a different overlay, right? Because on this side, they both already have that downward slope. But if it were on this side, it would go down and then back in and then back to the center. I don't know if one is necessarily different than the other, but Wackend is on the crown side of it rather than it being on the throat side of it. So what's being watched is more of the sort of connection or the guide. The guide is more on the side of the actual connection and less on the side of the perception of it. Blue being either the throat or the third eye. Now the two cards that came face down, it's the Journey and the Earthkeeper, 18 and 29, 9 and 11. Here's another 11 in the 29. So maybe we have watchers on both sides? Oof, how am I going to do this? Where'd my pen go? I'm not the best. Oh, if I just. It was better before. Hold up. There we go. That's better. So it would look like this. If we're being wackended on both sides, which is like a W. A W or an M. Or more W. I feel like the W fits. The M looks weird, but the W looks fine. Do we write W's like this? No, W is just more curved in general, but M is more. Maybe M is also similarly curved. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the Earth Keeper and the Journey. So then that's that. A 9-9-11. With the Seer of the Earth Keeper and the Journey. All being upright. And then in reverse, it's the mystical shaman in the upper world. Because they're both in reverse, they're both in 11. If the upper world were upright and the mystical shaman were upright, it would be an 11 and a 14. But because they're in reverse, they're in sync. Now it doesn't matter what the seer, like if the seer is upright or in reverse, it carries like the same numeric energy. Like most numbers. It's the 6 in reverse that becomes a 9. And a 6 is at play here, or a 9 is at play here. And then we have these unnatural 9s that don't share that the same like chirality, I guess. Now the 29 in reverse could become like a maybe a 67, a fancy 67, which would be a 13, or a 62. Or yeah, that's not quite 5, which would be an 8. So 998 it would become, but it's all upright anyway. So there's a flow that exists outside of the seer's ability to see. It's something that can't be seen right now, maybe, depending. But if you tap into the flow, if the connection is strong enough, you can feel it flowing in a direction. And it does remind me of what Steph said, Evening Sky, in her video, about how a lot of people are feeling something like big shifting or coming. The card of spiritual awakening, like there were so many cards of awakening in her read, but the coyote was also there. And it was about leaving, it was about making the transition between like what is familiar and what is unfamiliar. And sometimes the deception falls on self when we expect for something to play out the way that it's always played out. Because it's like, well, who said that was going to happen? That's an assumption that we made. And when we make assumptions, the burden of that assumption lies on us. It doesn't lie on the thing for not adhering to whatever we thought was going to happen. I want one last. Oh my gosh, that was quick. Now the hummingbird is at the bottom of the deck, still upright, 26. So we move from a 6 to an 8. The card that came out face down is the middle world upright, which is a 36-9. So the seer can see the middle world, and it aligns to the earth keeper in the journey, but only the mystical shaman is tuned into the upper world. Both in reverse again. See, because the birds in the upper world are trapped in the bubble. The mystical shaman has the bird in the bubble, but is outside of that, which is why it feels like the mystical shaman, although it's connected to the middle, upper, and lower worlds, it understands and realizes that even in all of this, which the seer almost prides itself on being adorned in all the feathers of the bird, but not necessarily understanding its limitations. They're just on like different, not planes of existence. I mean, they are, I guess, because upper, middle, lower world, it's like they're riding sort of different frequencies, or it's like splitting. Lots of 9s and 11s. Everything is a 9 or an 11. 11, 11, 11, 9, 9, 9. Let's do some Cindy math. So that's 9. Well, no matter how many 9s you add together, you're always going to get a 9. That's the magic of a 9. because this would be 9 plus 9 plus 9, which is 27, which is a 9. And then we have 11, 11, 11, which is 33, which is a 6. If we flip that 6 in reverse, it's a 9, which goes back to the upper world in reverse, like upright it being 59, but in reverse it being 65. Anyway, which makes it 11. Again, it's like with the upper world being in reverse, it puts it within the space of the mystical shaman being an 11, but out of the realm of the seer being a 9. Upright, I mean, it's not a 9, so that doesn't matter. It's a 14. So it's almost like no matter what orientation the upper world is in, it's almost always outside of the ability of the seer to comprehend. Because with the earth keeper and the journey, the seer's vision is too bound to what has already happened, it's like the past and history. It doesn't really allot for or make room for the miraculous and unexpected. It's bound by the bubble. And even the bird in the mystical shaman, it's like in the yellow orb, right? Or the shadow of the bird. Well, that itself is still above and outside of the middle world. I don't know. This is one of those, take it as it resonates. It'll unfold as it unfolds, I guess. Or as the node is about to shift from Gemini Sagittarius into Taurus Scorpio, maybe our ability to go with the flow or to find the flow, to feel the flow. Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexel, I'm feeling the flow. There's flow. Flow is in reverse. Oh, flow is in reverse between fire in reverse and the time master in reverse. And that fire card is interesting. And I guess that's the question of like, when do we observe time move backwards? I think a lot of times we think of time moving backwards, we think of like reverting to a previous state of whatever. Earth is also in reverse. You wish to have the earth reversed? The lower world is in reverse too. Only the middle world was upright. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that, because it was the lower world in reverse, the circle in reverse, and then the seer upright. So seer energy is just like almost completely out of the picture. I mean, not completely out of it. They understand what the middle world allows them to understand, or what the middle world gives them the context to understand. There's a lot more cards in reverse than there are upright. And I split this deck in half when I did it. The Indian cross is upright though. And some of the cards that were in reverse I put upright. Like these are all the ones that were in reverse. So a good like 66 or 67% of it not on the side of the seer. A good 33% is. But that's why we just sort of like knowing our limitations, the limits of our understanding, can help us go beyond them. That's the Ten of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. Mercury in Virgo, while Jupiter is in Pisces. Mercury in Virgo would be the seer. Jupiter in Pisces would be the mystical shaman in reverse, where the upper world is in reverse. And it's, again, it feels like it's just related to things that maybe we haven't experienced in a substantial way. And it's like it's happening to sort of broaden our idea of what is possible, feasible, realistic, or whatever. Which, if we've navigated North Node Gemini, South Node Sagittarius in a certain way, it'll actually position us to be able to more easily see, accept, and integrate the truth of what is outside of our ability or our current realm of understanding. The South Node Sagittarius side of it would still struggle to kind of sort of like incorporate it and not consider it like a fluke, or like it'll be like, well, that's an exception to the rule that doesn't break the rule. Or it's like, I'm not going to rewrite the rule. That's just an exception to the rule. And it's like, I was talking about I before E with one of my coworkers the day before yesterday. She was like, because she was like, I always spell, maybe it was like retrieve wrong or something like that. And she was like, there's no C in it. And I was like, well, the full saying is I before E, except after C, or sounding like A, as in neighbor or way. But I was like, that still doesn't help because retrieve doesn't sound like, it's not retrieve. So wait, but retrieve is, maybe it wasn't that word, because that is IE, RETRIEVE. I don't remember what word was. The owl. It's interesting. What, the medicine wheel in reverse? How is the medicine wheel in reverse? I turn these cards all upright. The medicine wheel and the sacrifice are both in reverse, with the seer upright behind them and the journey. That's the card I was looking for. Thank you. That's the card I was going to go looking for. Because in the journey card, there's an owl. Oh, let me turn these back in reverse. There's an owl on her head, bearing that same sort of like heart shape. But the owl itself came out, and it's on the third eye of the owl. On the third eye of the woman in journey, on the third eye of the owl. $29, $39. Medicine wheel in reverse. The sacrifice in reverse. With the seer upright and the journey upright. These have to be like the only two cards in reverse. No, here's the Time Master is still in reverse. The Vision Quest is still in reverse. The Wild Woman is in reverse. Water is in reverse. Did I not put these cards up right? I don't think I did. Wow. I just put them together. I didn't even flip them upright. Oof. Oof. Come on, Patrick. Like, what was the point of separating everything if I didn't even fix it? Maybe that's a lesson in and of itself. Or maybe they're supposed to stay with reversals in this deck. It's like every other time I use it, I'm like, I want reversals. It feels like reversals are it today. And then some days I'm like, not today. Not today. I say not today. You wish to have the curse reversed? I'll need a certain potion first. Go to the wood and bring me back. 1, the cow as white as milk. 2, the cape as red as blood. 3, the slippers as... No, the hair is yellow as... I don't remember the order. The cow is white as milk. The cape is red as what? The slippers is pure as... No, the hair is yellow as corn. The slippers is pure as gold. That's what it was. Into the Woods, Stephen Sondheim again. The curse card came out when in Steph's video. And it made me think of that. You wish to have the curse reversed? I'll need a certain potion first. Okay, I fixed those. So the medicine wheel and the sacrifice It's an energy of almost holding on to something that we think may be medicinal, but actually it's kind of sort of toxic because it keeps us separate. And that's the thing about this journey card. It's almost like the crown of the journey is where the owl is, but the rest of her body, like, she looks sad. Or they look sad. Could be a dude. And so it's like it's almost always on the outside. It's like through the crown it can get the vision of better or more, but it never experiences it. And so it causes probably some kind of internal conflict and chaos where it's like, but I was shown, but I was told, but like, why isn't this happening? And it's like the energy of the owl and the heart that the owl carries, it doesn't go any further than the crown of this person because the medicine wheel and sacrifice are in reverse. The thing that keeps us in this position we hold on to. And I feel like that's the space where we learn to face fear or we learn to truly be sovereign in the way of like not allowing certain things to keep us from experiencing what it is that we wish to experience. And it's like as long as fear continues to dictate your life, or as long as everything that you've experienced in the past continues to dictate your life, like, will you ever really truly be free? Because as long as they do, there will always be things that you don't like without second thought, no. Which isn't necessarily bad, because maybe there are a lot of things to say no to, but maybe there are some things that might appear a certain way, but that unfold into something more brilliant and better. And it's not for us to go for things that are obviously not whatever, but it's partial vision. We only see partially with the seer upright, but the upper world in reverse. We only see more or less what we've already seen, the seer, the earth keeper, and the journey. But the mystical shaman is able to see into and feel the experience of things that it's never seen, that it's never experienced. And maybe it's because of that that the mystical shaman understands the limitations of its earth keeper journey, knowing that there's a lot of earth and frequency of earth outside of what it's experienced. But it's again, it's like the seer can't see beyond what it is that the seer already knows, which is why we had a good 18 months of South Node Sagittarius, North Node Gemini, where it's like it's not about what you know, it's not about what you've experienced, it's about what is right in front of you and what is happening. And we were shown a lot of things that aren't necessarily easy to face, especially depending on our past experiences, right? And it's like, did we invoke the energy or the shadow side of Neptunian energy on ourselves, where we veil ourselves, we keep ourselves from seeing? And because we keep ourselves from seeing, there are even more things that we don't see. And that was a choice. It's always a choice when we use teachings or knowings and knowledge to say, I am deeming this as an illusion or as not real. This is a distraction. There is no merit in this, blah, 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 whatever. And we don't see. But again, that not seeing, that willing full blindness causes us to be blind to a lot of things outside of that too. So then it's like it's no surprise that the medicine that was offered, we reject. And so that which we had the opportunity to let go of to cause beautiful transformation out of the space of like darkness, you can see like the dark cocoon falling away of that orange butterfly. It never broke free, it never breaks free. So there are things that the seer continues to not see, or the things that the seer continues to see partially, but that it never really fully experiences. So it's always cold. It's always like, well, where is the warmth that I see? It's like, well, in some way you rejected it. And that's why in my own journey, it's like I can't for the past 2 weeks especially, it's like I can't allow this old fear to keep me from living my life. I'm not going to allow this old fear to get me back into that box of like, I don't even want to risk this happening when it's like that isn't even my experience anymore. And it's been proven to me time and time again. Like I've talked about it, how like, oh my gosh, like that's not my experience anymore. But the prospect of being whatever was enough for me to go, oof, maybe I should like quit. Maybe I should go somewhere else. Maybe I should give this up. And maybe I should, right? There isn't really a wrong or right answer in that. But for me, the question wasn't, is this job a good fit for me or should I go looking for someone else? The question was, am I going to allow this fear to keep me from at least trying? Am I not going to say anything? Am I going to revert back? So the question wasn't even about what was happening in real life. And I remember when I was reading it, Eve was like, isn't this like a work read? Like, where are the pinnacles? Why are there no pinnacles? Because the situation, the environment was work. But the question, the challenge wasn't about work. It just came through the space of work. Like, that's the area of my life that it came up in. And that's also a difference, maybe, between like theoretically within the context of this, like that would be Eve, hey, howdy. That would be the context of like the seer would see it as a work thing because that was my earthkeeper journey. It was like it was always work. It's like if I'm in a position where I have to work and I can't do this or I can't do that, spiral into depression, I'm just not even going to try. I'm going to go back home and be somebody that can't take care of myself. And I'm going to feel absolutely garbage because I'm going to be a burden on my parents. And I've already been a burden on my parents. And I don't want to be a burden on anybody. So maybe it would be better for everybody if I just stopped being. And then, I had to have my darkest night and everything else. And it's so funny because like I had to work through that energy before I was released from it. So there was a good year, 2 years almost, where I was like working through my vision being what it is. And then November 2020, it's like, oh, like you've developed cataracts. We can get you this surgery. Within a month, I had both eyes operated on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can actually see the world. What? And it's not as dark. My life is so much brighter already, and I'm barely starting um, than I ever thought it would have been capable of. Like I'm doing things right now that I would have been afraid of, that I was afraid of, things that spiraled me into all kinds of depressions. Day purged by the light of day. That's the Aksunade energy, though. It's when the light comes in and purges the shadows, but it couldn't have done that if I didn't apply and go to the interview and accept the job and show up. And so, with the context of everything I've already done, that fear came back up, and I was like, oof, maybe I should quit. Like, maybe I shouldn't do this. And again, like, that's why it's like, was it about work? Yeah. But what I chose to focus on in that moment, tried to be a little bit more mystical shaman and a little less seer, bound by everything that, earth. It's like, well, what is this really about though? Because deeper than that, again, it's like, am I going to allow the potential fear of this situation that may not even be as bad as I fear it is to get me to like run away and to miss out on this? And for a solid day, I didn't have an answer. And then I started doing the self reads. And the first time I did the self read, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because I pulled cards and I was like, yeah, no, because the cards told me no. And theoretically, hypothetically, the answer is no. But then last Wednesday happened and I hit that spot again. And that's when it really sort of clicked for me Wednesday, when I saw it more in its totality. And I was like, this isn't about work. This is about whether or not I'm going to allow this fear to continue to rule and dominate my life. And no, I'm not. I'm not going to do that without at least trying. And then I utilize my resources. Happy Sunday. I utilized my resources and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'll be all right. Of course, it's your world serpent, your Mangander. But they purged. Oh, I like that. Day purged is at the bottom of the deck. The Aksunare, purged by light. It's darkness purged by light. And that's what this is. But in day, it's completed. Your is like a partial understanding of it's not a partial understanding of the situation because it hasn't yet happened. Like day is when it bridges these things. And then it becomes something that we sort of like we pass through. Like the east, the self, the I continues to pass through it, but this time it's purged. And it becomes like I feel like it doesn't do justice to the dimensionality of this, but like this is the X and Y plane. It's like this, and then the east is like going through it. But it can feel like this, where it's like blocking us, and we can't pass through the paper. I guess it would be like this, right? I can't pass my finger through paper. And it's like this is a lot more to get through than like this. But then when you just like punch through it, that's when it sets the scale and it's like proper, like this is this is the day. After we like break through it, it becomes a lot flatter than like, whatever. Anyway. I hope that explained it. But anyway, whatever I was saying, it's very that. The seer and the mystical shaman. And that's one thing that knowing our limitations gives us. And that's why it's good to say, I don't know when we don't know. But I am a huge proponent of like not always being so quick to say that I don't know. Because there are things that I know, there are things that I don't know. And I accept that there are things that I think I know that I will get further knowing on later in life. But I don't feel the compulsion to say that I don't know the things I feel I know. I know what I know, and I have an openness to that knowing being expounded into and upon further knowing. But anyway. Rob! It's the end of the video. But welcome. When did you send me a message? I feel like you probably sent me that message on Tuesday, maybe. And then by Wednesday, everything had fallen apart. Yeah, that was Tuesday. You were like, hey, Patty, how you been? And I was like, oh, I've been good. And then Wednesday, I was like, oh my gosh. But by the end of Wednesday, I was fine. So, thanks for being the tower, Rob. Goodness. I was doing great before you asked me how I was. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. Excuse me. All right. I think that's everything. See, whenever now I have a compulsion to like pull more cards. I'm like, no, I shan't. I shouldn't. I didn't pull anything from the second drawer though. Did I? I pulled from the first drawer and from the second and from the third drawer. What's in the second drawer? Are these the dollies? Oof, I'm not even. But I was gonna use these. So I'll end it with the Gilded Tarot Royale. See, oh my gosh, I don't even have to use it. It was a card on the top of the deck. It's the Nine of Swords. This is literally the journey card where the owl is like outside trying to get in, but we're stuck in here with this seer energy, literally wearing the same face mask as the seer and the mystical shaman oracles. And like when we see through her eyes, of course it's Nine of Swords, but the owl is outside, like, there's a whole world outside of your bedroom window. And this is the Peter Pan with the pocket full of pixie dust that is going to teach Wendy how to fly, but I don't know. I don't know. I will pull a card though. I blame Rob. Yeah. I have entered a new level of personal freedom and responsibility. And it's interesting because I don't know. I don't know if that's the nature of dynamics or what. I just want like two cards. I was going to use these and the Mystical Manga Tarot and the Mystical Melodies. I was like, the Mystical Melodies being super cartoony, the Mystical Manga being more cartoony, and these being the most realistic. But I was like, eh. The Three of Cups and the Six of Swords. Love this energy. The Six of Swords was at the bottom of the deck, and it's going towards the Three of Cups. And so there's no context as to what we're leaving, but thank you. There's no context as to what we're leaving, but what we're heading towards, it's like mutual reception. The top two cups are pouring into the bottom one, and the bottom one pours out even more onto its surroundings. Hi, Skywalkeress. And there is something like red and blue, light into dark between night and day of the water. But in the sky, it's like in the water, it's more distinct. In the sky, it's a little harder to separate. I want to see what this says about the Three of Cups. Three of Cups, being surrounded by those who give you happiness and simple pleasures. Okay. Six of Swords is running from something, escaping a troubling situation that cannot be fixed. Escape. Escaping a troublesome situation that cannot be fixed. And it's fixed energy. I think this is the moon in Aquarius, the Six of Swords. The Three of Cups. The Two of Cups was Venus in Cancer. The Four of Cups was the moon in Cancer. The Three of Cups is somebody else in Cancer. I don't know. So the South Node would have been in Aquarius before the North Node was in Cancer. So there is an energy of like a polar shift almost. But it's a polar shift that occurs in between a regular shift. What is that? That's a rune, right? It's that one. You? I think that's you, maybe? Because it's like it was doing that, but on the way it went down and shifted to the other one. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of I don't know today. I don't know any of it. Wait, doing better than she was. Wait, what happened to who? Oh, your grandma. What? Well, I'm glad to hear that she's better than she was and she'll be discharged soon. I feel like I don't I feel like I missed like 99% of your lives now. And the ones I do catch, it's like a minute to 5 minutes. There's something here. It goes from something terrestrial to something more supra or super terrestrial, supra. Which one is above? I think supra might be above, but I don't remember. I'm gonna look it up real quick though. Supra Latin. Above is supra, yeah. So it's supra terrestrial, but it's all the element of water, which is interesting. It's like going up the Watchung Fall instead of going down, which is again that energy of reverse entropy or whatever. I'm like, what? I don't know. I feel like those cards could have stayed in the deck. Maybe not. There is it's I feel like Rob is here. Rob would be like, lighter times ahead. Like, that's a good message. Like, no need to overcomplicate or find the whatever in it. Is she a Pisces? What? Random internal bleeding and lost half of her blood? Oh my gosh. Oof. Makes me afraid to have a body. Bodies just do stuff like that for no reason. Well, I mean, maybe there's a reason, but it's like, well, where did that come from? Random internal. Oof. Well, I'm doubly glad to hear she's safe and better. How long does it take for like? I never took anatomy, but how long does it take to like recover? Oh, my stomach is. I'm starting to get queasy just like thinking about it. Like half of your blood for your blood to repopulate itself. Excuse me. Oh, I guess I have been. It's that Fata Morgana, maybe. And if we're lighter than air, we can live in the Fata Morgana before it fully descends. Um, that was yesterday or the day before yesterday. And I guess if you have like the magical boat for it, then going up a waterfall would be easier than climbing a mountain. But it would have to be water. I think it's a phenomenon based around water and the reflection of light in droplets of water in the air. I don't remember how a Fata Morgana is made, honestly. But that might explain why water is but you have to like go against the flow of water, against the natural flow of water. But there is another flow of water. There is a stream within, it's like there's a current within the stream that goes upwards instead of downwards. And when you find it, it'll do all the work for you. It'll like shoot you up like a geyser, water spout, whatever, right? Was from the stomach. Oof. Oh. She developed ulcers and she's been talking nonstop about the nausea. Yeah. See, that's why I don't need to be any more energetically sensitive. I don't need to be any more empathic than I already am. I don't want to be feeling somebody else's nausea or ulcers. Or anything. It's like, ooh, why did I suddenly get a pain over here? Like, no, thank you. Yeah, no, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Oof. Oof. But um yeah, I'm glad to hear she's doing better. I might need to eat a little. I got the salad. I think I sent you a picture of the salad. So I didn't eat that salad because that salad went bad. But I got a second salad and that one also went bad. But the day after it went bad, I was like, I'm gonna eat this. So I was eating a salad on the 25th of November? No, the 16th of December. Recently, within the past week, I ate a salad, part of a salad, and I thought of you. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't be like that though. It's a beautiful gift. It's a wonderful thing. And for those who are blessed with it, I just like don't wanna oof. I need to cook more. I was reading a thing I did on January 1st, and I literally said, I was like something about how I'm proving to me that I love me with my diet and through cooking more. I wasn't dieting, but my diet as just like what I eat. I was eating a lot more vegetables, drinking a lot more water, a lot less sugar. I was cooking a lot more. And I gained all the quarantine weight that I lost. I lost weight and then I gained it all back because I guess with a little bit of money, I can get more fast food and more sugar instead of using that money to buy groceries and cook or whatever. I bought these tubs so that if I cook, I can take stuff. But I'm like, man, wow, I really gained back everything. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. But anyway, speaking of food, I will. I need to go to Starbucks. I finally started using what? What? Rob coming in with the insider secrets. You can ask for a trade in your gifts. Wow. I don't even know what I would trade them for. There's just like stuff I don't want. Like I'm comfortable with the level of empathy I have. But I don't want to be like, hey, like, can I stop growing and developing at the same time? Oof. I wish I could pull myself a card when it comes to these. Hey Siri, choose a random number between 1 and 100.
A random number between 1 and 100 is 72.
Oof, it's 72. I know where the 70s are. The 70s are the realm of the soul. That's the 9 of souls. The 72, which is almost a completion. It is a completion, but it's not yet a mastery. The mastery would be 10. And so maybe it's just like it won't even be as bad as I think it would be. But I'm already like about to tear up at work sometimes, just like thinking about what somebody else might be feeling. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to feel this. Stop. Ugh, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I should like get into it a little bit more before I'm like, hey, no. but maybe not. I don't know. That's a choice and decision I have to make. Siri can't make it for me. Siri can't make it for me. Kizzy cat. Excuse me. I did. 72 is a 9. I didn't even think about that. The 72 9 was the seer, and the mystical shaman was the 11. So it is that, like, it might not even be, it's like my earthly understanding of experience of what I might potentially experience was enough to get me to be like, no, I don't want it. When there's like a whole world outside of what I haven't even personally experienced, or to what I've personally experienced to a lesser degree. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want this gift. Really? That was very seer of me, Eve. Thank you for calling me out. Thank you for calling me out. I didn't even piece that together. Oh, that makes sense. How are you doing, Kirsty? Kizzy cat. Excuse me. More sense. I thought I smelled a cologne earlier. It was weird because I put on my shirt and I was like, is that a cologne? And I don't wear cologne. I need to find a cologne, one that won't like irritate my nose or whatever. No, nothing like working in certain industries to just ruin Christmas for you. So we're here for you nines and all. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Eve. I appreciate it. um, yeah, I'm trying. I'm not. It's a little easier to hold on to my Christmas cheer because of what happened last Wednesday and the Friday before that, and what the Wednesday before that. If that didn't happen, I'd probably be a little like, oh, work is really taking all the Christmas out of Christmas for me this year. But honestly, though, I'm not playing any Christmas music. I'm not watching any Christmas movies. Christmas is in less than a week. It's in like 6 days. And I don't really, I have not smelled that. I don't think I've smelled it. I wouldn't know if I have or not, honestly. It was just for like a second and then another second. I was like, that's weird. But, and then it went away. Mm. Excuse me. Okay, I am going to find food. I I can't remember what's the first thing. I wish you. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. There we go. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas if you celebrate. If not, I wish you a happy holiday season if you celebrate holidays. And if you don't, I wish you not the worst time you could have if it's like rough for you around this time. I wish you a better time. Um, I thought savage sausage. Have you smelled sausage by Dior? Who is Dior? And what does their sausage smell like? You have no decks up or prezzies bought yet. I am in the same boat. I'm in the same boat. I'm like, should I get people stuff this year? You just decorated your tree yesterday. My grandma got her stuff up early. Um, she sent me because usually I was gone for a while, so she didn't have anybody to help her put her tree up. but it was like the day after Thanksgiving, maybe, or a few days after Thanksgiving. And she was like, "Look what I got up." I was like, "What? Okay." Um, but yeah, I hope you all have a good whatever whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that for the things that you wish to experience that you've not yet experienced, you have the flexibility or whatever is needed or required to allow them in. Very Virgo. There's the Virgo. There's Virgo, mutable earth, experiencing things outside of our typical experience, hopefully of the better variety and less of the worser. Um, Thank you all for being here. Eve, Rob. That's so funny. No problem. Thank you for being here. It was fun. It has to be Dior bratwurst though, Rob. It can't be any bratwurst. No, Dior's bratwurst is not just an ordinary bratwurst. You must go to the source itself. All right, I'll catch y'all later. Bye.